All right, welcome to Late Night Gun Chat. I hope everybody is doing well. So I see a few people in the chat already. If you haven't joined one of these before, you just ask your questions about guns and I give you my answers. And, it's just about that simple and it is what it is. So you let me know what you want to talk about, and that's what we're doing. But that's Late Night Gun Chat. Don't forget to join our MeWe page. Check out our t-shirts in the description below. Buy a t-shirt or three, and help me give my wife a nice anniversary gift. Anyway, guys, hope you're doing well. Again, we're just going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I got a new recording light, studio light. It's not that great. So if it's not bright enough, y'all let me know. It's not near as bright as the old one. So that's that. Anyway, I hope y'all are doing well. Some good news. We have a partial injunction of the pistol brace ban today. That's, a step in the right direction. There might be more. So if you didn't see Guns and Gadgets video on that, go check out Guns and Gadgets video on that. And go join the FPC, because the FPC is the plaintiff. It might mean, not definitely, but it might mean that if you're a member of the FPC, you're a part of the plaintiff and you get an injunction. So is what it is. So that's that. So we got some good news there today. Little asterisk on it, little butt on it, but it does all right. It's better than a loss, way better than a loss. So that being said, I think it's a good thing overall. So let's shout out the chat. I do not know you're here if you do not say hi in the chat. So make sure you say hi in the chat here. All right. Let's see. We got Marshall DeVue from Billings, Montana. David Walcott from here in Alaska. What is up, gang? How you doing? From Mountain View. Hunter Kirk from Northern Idaho. Bit tired, but still kicking. Yeah, they always keep kicking. Always give them another kick. There you go. What's up, Keith Gregory? Marcus Hibden. Good to see you. Avero Aguera here every week. I appreciate it. Definitely not Chook. Yep. Reloading Weatherby said you got some Federal Terminal Sense for 30-06. There you go. That's one of the best hunting bullets made, I think. Really is. So, yeah. Federal Terminal Scent is a great hunting bullet. Ed from Tennessee is here. How you doing, Ed? Good to see you. Ed Hartson, I guess is how you pronounce that name. Nice. Busta Base is here. Sup, AB? Yeah, every rifle is picky to some degree. Some, will group with a bunch of different ammo, and some only like that one thing, So, yeah, that's one thing. To me, 30-06 is a great do it all rifle. It's not great at anything, but it's a good at everything. So, if you're gonna go after bigger game animals, you want to go 300 Win Mag or more. If you're gonna go after deer, size game animals, you want to go a little less than 30-06, generally speaking. But it works. So that's that. Thoughts on Wheeler gun tools? Man, I've never had any that were bad. So that's a good question. But yeah, I've never had any. I use their inch-pound torque wrench all the time. So 30-06 I'm looting for is super picky. There you go. R-Dub as in Reloading Weatherby. My man. There you go. So, yeah, I use their inch-pound torque wrench all the time. The digital one's a little bit more accurate, but is what it is. There you go. Do you have a 3378 in the works? Not yet. There's a lot of things we got to pay off and stuff first. That one's not in the works yet, but it's on the list. 3378 is on the list, and I'm hoping that it will be, on the list. It'll probably be, and it could get kicked off the list, and I might just buy a 50 BMG. I'm looking for something that's anti-material and can go through most body armor as well and stop. So while 3378 could simply, anti-material for cars and trucks and stuff like that, it's not gonna instantly flatten non-flat tires and stuff like that, like a 50 BMG. But that being said, 3378 is easier to carry and has a lot less recoil than 50 BMG, even though 50 BMG has that huge old brake on the end, and whatever gun I would get a brake. But you know, the whole idea is to load those steel core ammo as fast as I can go to penetrate level 4. And I just don't know if you can really get it fast enough. So I've never hunted deer west of the Mississippi River. Good evening, 67 Rebel SSTAMC. No, I didn't hear Biden was trying to ban ammo. I don't care what Biden does anymore. Whatever he's gonna do is gonna get struck down by the court. 38 special plus P 158 grain hard cast for black bears. Better than a sharp stick, Nick. Better than a sharp stick. Would not be my first choice. I would actually take 9mm 147 grain over that because of round capacity. But yeah, do what you got to do. Wood grips are not comfortable to me. I carry rubber grips on all mine. Guns to me are, they're all practical, and I don't have a safe queen. So there's some things I'd turn into a safe queen, but yeah, I don't have a safe queen. So that's that. Every channel has a 50 B&G. You could be the 3378 Weatherby guy. That's true. Got it. Thank you, brother. You're welcome, man. Thank you for tuning in, Nick. Appreciate it. David Walcott, a 9mm hardcast. What are your thoughts on those? Well, they've been proven to get the job done, even on big grizzlies. It would not be my first choice. I got several boxes of it here. I got some choice ammunition, 148 grain hardcast. I've got, what do I got here? Oh, plus P plus extreme penetrators. I've got these buffalo bore. Like, I'm planning on doing a best 9mm bear defense. These are plus P plus penetrators, 124 grain full metal jacket flat nose. These are actually probably the most powerful 9mm bear type load. Flat nose, full metal jacket. And of course, I got 9mm 147 grain hardcast, and I got the Underwood versions of them somewhere too. I don't know. I thought they were right here, but yeah. As far as the hardcaster, my opinion on bear defense is this, and it's pretty simple, really. Shoot what you can shoot most accurately. If that's a 9mm, put the correct bullet in it and shoot it. Is 44 Magnum better? Absolutely, yes. But if you can't shoot it accurately, it does you no good. So, yeah. Federal makes a Syntex solid core ammunition 9mm 147 grain total synthetic jacket hard cast flat nose box of 20. Yeah, they do. I have not tested it yet. I wouldn't shoot them out of a Taurus, no. But or anything that's made cheaply. But yeah, your Glocks can handle it. You will let up the barrel pretty quickly in a Glock, so you got to be careful. And you'll let up where the lands meet the rifling pretty easily in a polygonal rifle barrel. So that's that. I would definitely check that out. So best full steel pistol for home defense. Well, that would probably be one of your CZ75 clones, full steel. I mean, you're looking for all steel. Beretta has that all steel 92 that's like $1,500 the match one or whatever. That'd be a good one too. Yeah, I would do. So yeah, I would do that. But CZ Shadow 2 would also be a good one. So okay, thanks, brother. Good live stream. Yeah, no problem, Nick. Thank you. I had some choice 10mm 200 grain chrono at 1150 out of a G40. Huge smiley faces on every crate. My long shot loads get better velocity with no smiley. There you go. Well, I haven't tried it yet, so that's that. How do we donate? I don't see a super chat option. Honestly, I just do Patreon or PayPal. Well, not PayPal. Yeah, I just do Patreon. It's in the links to the description. There's also a MeWe page, and my MeWe page has all my affiliate links if you want to go look at those. But yeah, the best thing you can do, to be honest with you, is share one of my monetized videos. I don't monetize my live streams because YouTube automatically demonetizes them, and I just don't want to go through the hassle. So Yeah, um, I would definitely think about going to the MeWe page and doing that kind of stuff. But um, yeah, I'm sorry I don't have it better than that, but I appreciate it. So yeah, Patreon is in the link below. I'm not sure if you can do one-time donations on Patreon or not. But yeah, I appreciate it, and anything you can do to help the channel is great. But just sharing one of the regular weekly videos, most of them are monetized, is probably the best thing to do. So, and do that for every gun channel because YouTube is really throttling down views. There's not just YouTube, not just gun channels, but prepping channels, Christian channels, all sorts of things. They're just throttling down the views lately. So, all right, I've been thinking about getting one for one of my sisters. Yeah, I mean, if you can't handle 10 millimeter recoil, a 9 millimeter with the hard cast in it's better than a short stick. Sharp stick, better than a short stick. So, yep. Yeah, always a good idea to function test ammo that you intend to carry. The latest 10 millimeter is a good example, or really light, heavy, different bullet shape. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Even when I consider the gun reliable, like a Glock, and I know 99.9% of the stuff is going to feed, I'm going to go shoot my carry ammunition. Absolutely, yes. Best 5.56 round for self defense. Dan, I'd love to answer this. What barrel length are you shooting it out of? Because I mean, half of my ARs are 18, 20-inch barrels, and that's gonna play into what I'm shooting out of. But for self defense, I have I live on a cul-de-sac where there's bears, and sometimes strange cars drive and turn circles at night in the cul-de-sac. So like I'm thinking about defending my house from somebody outside. So a 20-inch will be fine. But if you're doing 16 or 10-inch, then I would not go with what I use. I use the Barnes TSX, and I hate it for hunting, but at short distances, it opens up really well. It's going to penetrate. And the way I figure it at long distances, it's going to act like a full metal jacket, which is the only other thing I would be shooting would be full metal jacket. So I like the Barnes TSX for that. And it should do okay out of a 16-inch at close range inside the house. Uh, but it would probably still pass right through. And that's not what you're wanting if you're shooting inside your house because you never know what direction. So I would look at the Spear Gold Dot loads, the 55 and the 73 grain loads for those. I would look at here, I got them right here. So these are some 75 grain Spear Gold Dot loads. They're bonded. They're going to expand really rapidly though. Yeah, I would look at those. I have not tested them yet. I would look at there's actually a critical defense 55 and 73 grain load from Hornady, just like there's for handguns. If you can find it loaded, which I haven't had, the Barnes TTSX would be better because it'll expand even more rapidly, the TTSX, but it'll keep its core. I'm going to be honest with you. If you can find anything loaded with a 60 grain VMAX, especially if you want 1 and 7, 1 and 8 twist barrel, 60 grain VMAX, will stay together just a little hair better than the 55 grain VMAX, maybe give you the penetration you need. So I would, I would definitely do that. I would carry 60 grain VMAX. There's a bunch of loads. I post loads to my MeWe page all the time of 60 grain VMAX. And I think 60 grain VMAX is a great way to go there. But, it really depends on, do you live in an apartment? Do you have young children that are going to be on opposite sides of the wall? A lot of that comes into play. If you have a split bedroom house and your children are over here, the living area is here, and then your room's over here, you're shooting across the living room towards your children's room. Stuff like that is, going to come into a factor where you want to use like a VMAX. But if all on one, if all the bedrooms are over here and the living room's here, then nobody's behind your target, then, or at least shouldn't be behind your target, then you could use a TSX, TTXX and do something that is, or the Spear, do something that is going to hold together better and penetrate better and give you some energy dump, but penetrate all the way to the vitals. That being said, I have used the 55 grain max on a white-tailed deer, again, 20 inches, and I've dropped them right there, but I do put the bullet right there. Now, VMAX is not the best one to use on deer, I agree, but I put the bullet right there. Nobody cares. Like they were drop, plop, shot right there. So it is what it is. So I need to do a video on that. What is the best? And that's why I'm saving up those boxes of ammo, right? That I was showing you right there. I got a few of them right there, different kinds. And I'm just gonna say, hey, what's the best home defense, ammo? And so I've got a few different ones, and I've got loaded up and ready to go, and we'll see how they perform. So that's that. 16-inch barrel. Thank you. Missouri, what's up, M. Gabriel? 40 Smith & Wesson for self-defense. I carry a 40 all the time. I have the 40 shield that I bought to use on the channel, and I just like the small size. And I got rid of my Glock 43, or excuse me, my Glock 43. That was early on the channel, just because got to the point where I never carried it, and I'd much rather, and I wanted to buy something else. So I pulled a chook and sold it and got something else. And that was that. So all right, David Walcott. Stay away from the cellular and bellet. What would be a good practice ammo? The best practice ammo is the SIG 180 grain. It's much more expensive because they actually load it up. It's a 180 grain, and out of most guns, it's getting 1220 to 1275. And so it is actual full 10 millimeter power. So I think the SIG ammo is the best one to get. But out of the ones you listed, I would stay away from cellular and below. I've seen some issues with them: ripped casings, great case heads, primers blown out. I've seen several cracked. When I did that Glock Gen 5 video, Chook had some cellular and bellet, and it was like giving me a lot more flashback and a lot more erratic ejection than any other ammo. And so I did not like that. I would say out of all those, I go the MagTech. Chook has actually let me shoot a lot of the MagTech, and I've had a few boxes of it, and it's really good. So, yeah, that is the best. Spear is nickel cased, and primer is sealed. Yep, used to be used in law enforcement. It's a good one. The Sig Spear Gold Dot's a great rifle bullet. I never thought it was until that guy, what was his name? Matt sent me some. He was over on Instagram. He sent me some 6.5 Spear Gold Dot to use, 140 grain Spear Gold Dot. And I loaded it up in my 6.5 284, shot it at way close to range, and was shooting it. It was going 2850-ish. So it was meant to be 140 grain going 2700 in a 6.5 Creedmoor, and it's going 2850-ish. And that bullet still held together really well and still got great penetration, even at close range. So I really like that Spear Gold Dot as a rifle bullet. You can't beat it. So and that's what sold me on it. I like it better as a rifle bullet than I do a pistol bullet. So Federal HST is for handguns is in our top testing too. Yeah, that's what I normally carry as Federal HST. Though I'm moving over slightly to the Extreme Defenders because I want more penetration with the heavy clothes on up here. Better than a stick, absolutely. What are your thoughts on lasers on guns? So infrared lasers, yes. If you have infrared night vision that you can see the laser on a gun. So yeah, I like that idea. I haven't trained with it. I'm obviously not military and stuff like that, but I do like that idea, and I think it's a good idea to have, especially on a bug out rifle, into the world, crap hits the fan rifle kind of thing. So yeah, I like lasers on guns in that sense. A laser on a handgun, a visible light laser. I'm not a big fan of visible light lasers. Um, so people get an idea that they're going to be like they are in the movies, and they're not. They're going to just be a dot sitting there on somebody's chest that, oh gosh, don't shoot me, you had a laser. They're not. When somebody's laser's on there, it's bouncing all over their chest because you're sitting there fumbling the gun and you cannot hold it steady. I think it ends up being a good teacher for dry fire lessons if you want to, line the laser up with your sights and then put a push pin in the wall and keep the laser on the push pin and see how you can pull the trigger and keep the laser on the push pin. I think it ends up being great dry fire practice, but they have great dry fire practice tools out there now with the Mantix X and other stuff out there. Did I say that right? Anyway, but yeah. So yeah, for 5.56. Oh, I just bought a box of those to hand load in 22.250. I bought the 62 gram. I'm gonna hand load some in 22.250 and some in 223. So I think if do y'all want to see a 223 versus 22.250 video, put it in the comments. Let me know. So yeah, that would be kind of a cool one. But I just bought a box of those to load. I haven't tried them yet. Thanks, Chris. Still can't find any 380 Ruger for my Alaskan, or 480 Ruger. I hope you mean for my Alaskan or 300 PRC brass to hand load. Even though it's hard to find, I love both calibers. Yeah, um, they have the 300 PRC ammo, the ELDM. Just go. Do you live here in Alaska, Busta Base? They have it at Three Bears. Just go buy that and shoot it up and use the brass. That's the best way to do it. Then you get the double the fun. Good 500 Smith & Wesson ammo, Buffalo Board Underwood. South Florida checking in. How you doing, DB? Nice to see you. Armscore makes a 60 grain bonded soft point with no exposed lead. Yeah, I remember that. Good for semi-autos. Took a large mule dealer at 40 yards. Great bullet performance. Sweet, man. Yeah. There's some good bullets out there as a civilian. What do you think is the best value for the money, bang per buck firearms? Oh, that depends on what kind of firearm we're talking about. We're talking about shotguns, Winchester. I know they're made in Turkey nowadays, but they're still good design and they work. Or the Stoker P3000. That's a good pump shotgun for the money. So if you're looking at, sub $400 shotguns, those are probably your best ones. For AR-15s, for the money, you probably get the best out of Aero Precision. I would take my Aero Precision to Afghanistan and back tomorrow. I know not everybody has that high opinion of them, but for the money, or Double Star JT Distributing Corporation, they make really good stuff. In fact, my main defense rifle is a Double Star kit built on an Arrow lower, and that's my 16-inch defense round. So that's that. As far as bolt action rifles, the CVA Cascade. I haven't owned one yet. I went to buy one when I got my 65 PRC and couldn't find it anywhere. So the CVA Cascade is, that's where I would start as far as a hunting rifle is concerned. It's, very smooth, great accurate barrels. It's got the rail on it already, threaded barrel, double swivel stud for a bipod and a sling. You can't beat it for the money. It's smooth action, not as smooth as a Tikka or a Bergara, but it's a Bergara barrel on it too. They own CVA, so that's that. So yeah, for a handgun, the Palmetto State Armory Dagger is going to be your best value. But for 44 Magnums and stuff like that, revolvers, Smith & Wesson or Ruger. I mean, you got to pay the money. So I think that, as far as best value, that's that. Those would be my answers, Dan. Hopefully you would agree. I would stay away from Taurus. Too many quality issues. Got an email today from Taurus, which I don't know how I'm on their mailing list. I hate on them too much. I got an email from them today. They're having a recall on one of their guns. It's pulling a SIG and dropping fired when it's dropped. So yeah, I would stay away from Taurus and High Point, guns that are known to break. So 480. Yep. What's up, Richard E? How you doing? Jim, what didn't you like about the 43? I liked the 43. Biggest issue was capacity. 6 rounds plus 1 in the chamber, or 7 rounds plus 1 in the chamber, with the pinky extension. And that's the same capacity I have in my shield. And my shield, is a little bigger, but I'm fat enough to pocket carry it in a coat. So, the 43. The other thing I didn't like about it was, so all my backup mags were 8 rounds. I had the extenders put on them, the 2-round extenders with their own springs. And a lot of those did not work if you're running plus P plus ammunition, or even some plus P ammunition, because the spring wasn't loading it up fast enough for the faster moving slide with the heavier loaded round, the more gunpowder moving the bullet faster round. So I would say that one of the biggest disappointments of that was that. So you were limited to OEM magazines essentially. So I didn't like the magazine capacity. So what's up, Gun Snob? How you doing? Got a laser flashlight combo on my G40 for bear defense in the dark. That's not a bad idea. So not a bad idea. What's up, AB? What's up? Everybody saying what's up to each other. Keith. 223 versus 556. No, I was talking 223 versus 250. That's the video I'm talking about. So, because the difference between 223 and 556 isn't that much. Okay, the difference is 556 is loaded to perform in a 20-inch barrel AR. 223 is loaded to perform in a 22 to 24-inch barrel bolt action. But as far as actual power, yeah, 556 is a little bit more power, more pressure, but not enough that if you got 223 laying around, it's not enough that it's going to make that big of a difference. But I was talking 22 250 versus 223, and just show you exactly how much faster you can get a bullet going. So yeah, just bought some 45 grain TSX for my 22 250. Oh, Hopeful Ballistics, that'll be fun. I can't wait to see that video on your channel. Everybody go subscribe to Hopeful Ballistics. I want to see everything about it. I think it was about $60 a box for 20 Hornady 212 grain ELDX. Yeah, and you spend over 70, 80. You spend over $120 a box for Nosler brass if you could find it. What's up, Montana Musings Outdoor Channel? How's it going? Just done any video. I've been working on loads for 6mm arc and 223 varmint. Nice. Chuck, you've handled Henry and Marlin levers before. Which do you think is either smoother or faster or feels better? Out of the box, Henry feels better than the older Marlins, the Rimlands. I haven't felt enough of the new ones to really say. If you get an older JM mark, or is it JM or JM marked Marlin, then those, if they're broke in real well, they can be a lot smoother. So is what it is. So I'm glad you liked my answers, or at least on Taurus GX4 had a recall. Yep. Any knowledge on the 40 Super? I've shot one a long time ago when I was 19. It was in a 1911. Very potent. One of the most accurate guns I've ever shot. And necked handgun cartridges like 357 SIG and 40 Super tend to be a lot faster. For those that don't know, 40 Super is a 45 Super case necked like it to a 40 bullet or 10mm bullet, just like 357 SIG is a 40 case necked to a 9mm bullet. So yeah. Yeah, G4X, a different design. Friend is going to buy a deer hunting rifle very soon. He's wanting a Ruger bolt action 450 Bushmaster. Is that a good choice, or would you recommend something else for strictly hunting deer? Well, as long as he's hunting them close, that's a great choice. If he wants to shoot 300, 400, 500 yards and he's going out west and that kind of thing, that's a terrible choice. So I would recommend a 7mm 08 or 6.5 Creedmoor or a 308 or a 270 or 30-06 or 6.5 PRC if he's going to shoot beyond 100 yards or around 200 yards. 450 Bushmaster, if he's brush hunting, brush hunting, yeah, 450 Bushmaster's fine. Yeah. So 40 Super, that sounds awesome. Yeah, it is. It's a pretty interesting cartridge. I don't plan on getting into it on the channel unless you guys blow up sharing the videos, where I can just decide to get into random things. But yeah, I don't plan on getting into it, but it is pretty nice. If I get a chance, I'll do a video on it. But it's definitely an interesting prospect, that's for sure. And loading out hard cast bullets a lot hotter. You can load those 220 grain hard cast bullets, get them going probably 1200 in a 40 Super. So thanks, man. Yep, no problem. Yeah, no problem. But yeah, if he's within 200 yards, yeah, he'll be okay. But even at 200 yards, there's a lot of drop at a 450 Bushmaster, so he'll really have to know his rifle. And the rounds are super expensive. I still think you're better off, even in thicker brush, going 308. And that way you have easier time finding ammo. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Do you think some Marlas out there in the world made an AR-15 and 30 carbine? Huh. I doubt it. Magazine issues would be the biggest thing. 30 carbine. Let's just Google it. AR-15. Well, yeah, doesn't look like it's. Yeah, it'd be really custom if you did one. It doesn't look like it's out there. SSTs are not a good bullet for anything over Coyote. They break apart too much. Get the Hornady CX. If you want Hornady, get the Hornady CX. Speaking of promoting the videos, we have 30 views right now and only 7 likes. So thank you very much. So, what's the difference between 40 Super and 400 Carbine? Both are 45 ACP custom. I'm not exactly sure what the exact differences are. I'd have to look that up. But yeah, you're correct. They're both, they're both .400 10 millimeter bullets. So yeah. Going back to this, SSTs just, oh man, anybody who uses SSTs is an unethical hunter. So I'm just going to say it straight up. They're terrible bullet. Every time I've used them, they've broken on the skin of a deer. And I'm talking small Georgia deer, 165 grain from a 16-inch 308. I've not found blood trails. They go in and they explode. They don't hold together. I've demonstrated it on the channel. And if you use SSTs, you're an unethical hunter. Just like same thing with ELDX. Same thing. Nozzler ballistic tip is a little bit better, but not much because it's a little thicker jacket. So yeah, don't use a non-bonded ballistic tip. So sorry, Dan O'Neill. I know you love your SSTs, but if you're neck shooting deer, great. If you're not, it's not an ethical bullet to use. I can answer no on the SST to have mixed results over multiple hunts. Usually didn't have a problem, but four through the broiler room from 30 yards to 200 before dropping mule deer buck. There you go. So SSD is a good home defense round. Yeah. If you have an AR-10, Joe, that's a good SST. It's a good home defense round. Yeah, get it to blow up and not go and hit your kids. But I've demonstrated on the channel many times from many different calibers, and they say it gets better the slower it's going, and it doesn't. So, is what it is. So, yeah. Anybody who uses SST is an unethical hunter. I'll throw my weight into it. Never had a fail. Yeah, but you put all of them right here, not through the boiler room. Any bullet works right here. So, thoughts on Rock Island firearms? If you buy one and it works, you've got a good one. But you might buy one and it might not work. So, yeah. Been skeptical on SST. Thanks for the knowledge. Yeah. I never used one for caribou. Yeah. If you use it bigger than coyotes, you're an unethical hunter, in my opinion. And that includes wolf, deer, coyotes, bear, caribou, that kind of thing. Anything bigger than bigger than coyotes. But that's my opinion because I've demonstrated it. I've seen it happen in real life. And people tell me, oh, they had a bad batch or they've changed their formula on them. Go out and shoot them and they're still awful. What's the pistol design of all time? Glock. I mean, everybody's copying it. The M&P is a copy of a Glock. The SIG or the Springfield XD is a copy of Glock. The SIG P320 is a copy of a Glock system. The Sigma is a copy of a Glock. They all have the little, striker fired push button in there, retainer. So that's that. So, yep. I use them for practice prairie dog loads in 308, 300 Win Mag, 300 run. I shoot copper for big game. There you go, Joe. Copper for big game is and for deer is great. TTSX, Hornady CX, all copper for big game is a great choice. So that's that. 1911. 2 world wars. Yep. Is what it is. So is what it is. All chest shots from a 20-inch bolt. Dan, you're a good friend of the channel. I appreciate it, but you're taking a big risk. You hit a rib, that butt bullet explodes. So I used a similar load, 150 grain Hornady Superformance SST, 3,000 feet per second for my 308. Yep. So I love the 1911, but I'd rather have a Glock. And yep, absolutely. You don't have to worry about magazines. All Glock magazines work in all Glock guns, and most of the aftermarket magazines work decently in Glock guns. 1911s are magazine picky. If you don't have your magazines that it likes, your brand. I've had some that would only shoot Wilsons. So that's a $60, $50 magazine. So don't forget to hit the lights button. Yeah. So yeah, the magazines alone are the reasons why in a bad situation, if going in a bad situation, you use a Glock. So much rather have a Glock. You're able to change the night sights yourselves on a Glock with a tool. Harder on a 1911. There's just a lot of stuff. 130 Maker Rex. I've never heard of a Maker Rex in 308. I've heard. I've used 130 grain Barnes TTSX. They do make a 308 diameter 130 grain Barnes TTSX. So that's pretty interesting. So love that. I've done one video on the 300 Win Mag in the 130 grain. Peeled its petals off and penetrated deep. I mean, couldn't ask for anything more than that. Yeah. 166 grain hammer and 300 Win Mag. Nice. 165 grain CX and 300 rum. Nice. Yeah. Nice. So, yeah. I like this. I like the 300, the CX bullet. So that's that. What was your first ever firearm you bought? I still have it. It's a Marlin 60-22. Bought it shortly after they passed the 1994 AWB, and I'd wanted the Ruger 1022, but when you couldn't get a folding stock and 25 round mags for it, I was just like, the heck with that, screw it. So I bought a Marlin Model 60. Glad I did, because it's been more accurate than any Ruger 1022 I've ever had. So, yeah, it's a one hole all day at 25 yards. So love that thing. Love that thing. A lot of squirrels killed with it. A few things there. What do you think is the best generation of Glock? Honestly, I think the best generation of Glock has been the Gen 5. There's not been any issues with them. No extractor issues like Gen 3s. Gen 4s, have the finger grips and finger grooves. Gen 1 and 2 didn't have the rail for the lights and stuff. So Gen 5. I'm going to go with Gen 5. I have a Gen 5 and a Glock Model 34, and I love it. So I love it a lot. So Gen 6. That's that. But yeah, no, Gen 5 is, hard to beat. So by the time they get every model out in a Gen 5, though, they're going to have the Gen 6 out. Excuse me. So that's that. Gen 5, I agree. Yep. So definitely think Gen 5 is the best model of Glock. So I love my Gen 5 34, which is really my wife's gun, but is what it is. Moose or caribou? To hunt, to eat, caribou mostly. Caribou's a better steak. Moose is a better burger. Um, both of them are good though. So, would you pay $100 more for a Gen 5 versus Gen 4? Probably not. No, I probably wouldn't. That being said, I've not been put in that situation. I've seen $100 more for a Gen 4 than a Gen 3, or $50, $75 more, but Gen 4 versus Gen 5, no. What's up, Ghost? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. If you haven't subscribed to Ghost Chat Tactical, what are you thinking? You haven't been thinking. Go subscribe to him. So, good guy. Very, very that. Moose to me is tastier. There you go. A matter of opinion. All you do it. So, I went with the Gen 4 G20. Yep, there you go. Yeah. So that I have a Gen 4 G20. I like it too. I have the ugliest Gen 4 G20 with the camo paint job ever. So, is what it is. It worked though. It works. So I carry it often in the Bearwoods because my wife carries the G40 and I don't get my G40 back. She carries it. So yeah. The G40 is the best 10 millimeter made in my opinion right now. I've shot them all now. Thanks to Chook. If you haven't subscribed to Chook's Outdoor Adventures, please go do it. But thanks to him, I've shot the FN. I've shot the High Point. I've shot the Smith. I've shot the Sig. I've shot the Springfields. I've shot the what is it? The EAA Tankfolio. And the best one is definitely the Glock 40. It still is. Yeah. That is crazy. Hope that Underwood gets pushed to produce a heavier extreme penetrator. So the reason why they don't is because the bullet is extremely long. So a 140 grain extreme penetrator is going to be longer than your 155, 165 grain hollow points. It's going to be longer because it's all copper. Copper's not as dense as lead, so to get the weight up, you got to make the bullet a lot longer. And so it'll suffer from and 10 millimeter buffalo board 190 grain does the same thing. If you got a 190 grain or a 180 grain or even a 170 grain extreme penetrator, you're not going to be able to put the powder in it you want to get it being pushed fast enough to compete with hard cast rounds. And so I think the extreme penetrator at 140 grain is about perfect to get the speed that you want to get. So rebarreling a burned out 22 250. Yeah, nice. I'll probably have to do that in the way I'm shooting mine. 22 250 AI or 22 Creedmoor. Having researched it, because I was debating between all three of those calibers right there when I built mine. And for me, there wasn't enough data on enough different bullet weights that I could find a hand load for 22 Creedmoor. There was just no data out there. 22 250 AI, there was no brass for me to find. I could not find any brass out there. Dies were there, but I couldn't find that. Yeah, that was that. And so I ended up going just 22 250 regular because I could find loaded ammo, dies, bullets, powders, primers, everything. I had the powders and the primers already that I wanted for it. And I knew I was going to get a 22 250 to do the the military bullet body armor testing. So that's that. So yeah, I would probably go AI, but I mean, to be honest with you, the AI and the Creedmoor are neck and neck as far as ballistics. And what is out of the same length barrel, and AI might get you 150 feet per second more, and the 22 Creedmoor might get you 125 to 175 feet per second more, depending on the thing. So I would definitely say whichever one you can find components for. If you can find the brass and the dies for the Creedmoor, get the Creedmoor. If you can find the brass and the dies for the 22 250 AI, get the AI. But I couldn't find them when I was building mine, so I just got a regular 22 250. I will say though, to send the M55 A1 steel tips or the M55 M855, excuse me, green tips fast enough to go through level 4 body armor, you're going to need a bolt action 22-250 AI or 22 Creedmoor in a 28-inch barrel or more. So that's where you're at. You're going to need that much speed, and I still don't think it'll go through, to be honest with you. Especially not the green tips. The green tips, they have that steel core, but their jacket is designed to act like a ballistic tip. So if it's going fast enough, the jacket rips off and deposits energy while the core keeps going. And that's why they had problems in Somalia, Mogadishu, because they were using little 14.5-inch barrels, and it was just going through. It wasn't fast enough to rip the jacket off. So they were just having problems with that all day. Hey man, that's kind of like my favorite gun I own right now, the G40. It's the best 10mm made. Ruger. Out of all those, I go the Ruger 10mm. And the reason is simple reliability. I've not heard bad things about the EAA Gerson. Kimber can be hit or miss on reliability, and they only come with one magazine. So at least with Ruger, you get two. Out of all three of those, go Ruger 10mm. Issue with heavier extreme penetrators is velocity. Yep. Were you the one who swapped the G40 stock barrel for a 7-inch barrel for hardcast? No, mine's a 6.5-inch barrel for hardcast, and the 6.5 is only available in the threaded barrel, KKM barrel, I believe. But yeah, I have a KKM, a 6.5-inch barrel. Yep, and that just makes it even better. Should I buy an SP01 competition version? I don't know. I'm not a SP01 guy, so yep. Yep, no problem, Dan Cruz. I appreciate it. Got to go and cook later, Chuck and chat. Yep. Man, God bless you. Have a good night, David Walcott. I appreciate it. So, yeah. That all being said, it's been 47 minutes. I've got to get up early tomorrow. I got to make my wife some margaritas and all that jazz. So, guys, I hope you all have a great night. If you got any last questions, let me know. Maybe wrong, but I thought you could shoot any regular version of a cartridge in an AI chamber and it will fire for them. I didn't know that. Maybe I'm learning something from you guys tonight. That'd be great. Yep. So, guys, y'all have a good night. My name's Chuck. I hope y'all have a great night, and God bless. Take care. Visit the MeWe page, t-shirts below, all that jazz. God bless. Take care. We'll see you at the range.